Okay, sure.
Hey guys, we're on Freddie's porch in Hot Springs, and we've got a lot of hikers in town today. And I saw this guy way back, probably at the 60-mile mark or 50-something mile mark, out of Unicoi at the Indian Grave Gap. He interviewed a lot of hikers that day, but he got busy and he slipped away, and it was my fault. I let him go without catching the interview, but we've got him in Hot Springs now. We can talk to him. Give us your trail name and anything you'll tell us about you.
Well, my real name's Dennis Call. I'm from
Dennis?
Dennis Call, and I'm from Pennsylvania. And my trail name's Pilgrim.
And how did you get that name?
Well, the Pilgrim came from someone attached it to me early because it's my heritage. My ancestors came over on the Mayflower. I was born and raised in Cape Cod, just a little way from Plymouth Rock. I got ancestors that settled early colonial towns of Medford and Deerfield in Massachusetts. So it's like there's a heritage to be adventurous in our
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I bet you like that name.
Yeah.
It fits you well.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
We've had Pilgrim for several years in a row,
Okay.
but we hadn't had some in about 4 years.
Oh.
It was interesting that for 14, 15, 16, and 17, we had a Pilgrim every year.
Oh, is that right?
But the last 4 years, I have not met somebody called Pilgrim.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
It is.
Okay, tell me when you decided that you were going to hike the Appalachian Trail.
Well, it's always been on my mind for a long time.
I mean, even as a kid, or when do you remember first really knowing about the
probably in the 70s. I started work in an adaptive outward bound program with troubled teens, core committed youth, and I spent 40 years in that field as a professional. And so it's like I had a background in taking kids out and into the wilderness and for extended trips, anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days.
Wow!
And so it was like I wanted to culminate my life's adventures into one big kind of ribbon wrap trip.
When did you start buying your stuff for this trip?
Probably a year ago, and that was the hardest thing to do because I had equipment, but it was not designed for through hiking. So
I got a truck coming. We'll stop when a loud truck comes. I don't want to miss anything he says, but so go ahead. You started buying newer gear.
Yeah, about a year ago. And I didn't want to start too early, just not knowing what was going on, and with family and a few other things and the investments, and then how technology changes so quickly that you buy something and it's already outdated within a year. And in our days in the 70s, you buy something like Gore-Tex, it lasted 15, 20 years before someone came up with a simulated, apparel. So it's like, but not now. It's like, you buy a stove and it's already outdated in probably 9 months. So.
What kind of weight are you carrying with your gear?
Oh, I'm ashamed at that. I started out of Amacola probably at 42 or 43 pounds. And my problem with that one was that it's like everything I own is probably 3 ounces or 4 ounces more than what somebody else got.
What is it today?
It's probably closer to 40, but it's not because I got rid of anything. It's just I got to learn how to manage the food a little bit. And because of the position that I had for so long in compliance and risk management, it was always like our first aid kits were extraordinary, and things like this. So it's I have to unlearn things.
Okay.
Is basically what my skill has to be.
Well, your way to get down is further up you go, and then after the cold weather gets gone, you'll be able to let go of some stuff. And
get rid of the spikes that I'm waiting for.
Oh yeah, you could definitely let go of those now.
Yeah.
I mean, we usually tell people before they ever hike, it's not worth the reward for the weight you carry, the amount of time that you would use those. So I encouraged the girl that we helping from Hawaii. She told me that her first day at Amacola, she had spikes. And I said, you don't need those. So she sent those home immediately.
Okay.
And she wouldn't have needed them if she would have hiked all of the Smokies. She got hurt in the Smokies. But yeah, you'll end up sending those home pretty quick. And that'll help you some.
Yeah, and I can transfer my bag because I got a 15-degree a hybrid bag, and because coming from New England is that those cold wet rains I just had past bad experiences with down, so it's like I stuck with something that was hybrid, and then I go to a down 40-degree bag shortly.
Yeah, that'll help. Now, has anything surprised you out here that maybe caught you off guard, and good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, yeah, I think the biggest surprise was that we had read an article about, hey, start your trip in February, you'll beat the bubble. And I think everybody read the same article. Because it seemed we started off and there was just all these swarms every day of people going, and I didn't expect this many participants.
Yeah, because they've had over 50 a day for several days back in February.
Yeah.
And you're right, the bubble actually has started in the beginning, and it's getting bigger because the fast people that started after us have caught us up here. And so they may pass us, and maybe it'll get a little smaller with some of y'all as you go forward. But yeah, I agree with that. That's a good answer, because
Sure.
that's very true.
Yeah.
Have you had any problems finding a step spot or to camp because of the crowds?
The hardest part was in Tennessee, when you're limited to go to the shelter areas.
in the Smokies.
Yeah, and I felt like it was just Woodstock revisited. We'd get there and it was like you see 20 tents,
Yeah.
you know, and you were pitching tents on ground that you didn't think you could pitch a tent on. It was unbelievable. And so those kinds of things, the people coming in late at night, you know, you wake up in the morning, there's 4 more tents that you didn't see when you went to bed. It's like, you know, those were the big surprises. But now that we're back in and you see the opportunity, and I think the terrain lended itself that way too.
You're
I can
right.
understand in Tennessee the way the terrain was outlined, that it was not conducive to be able to do a lot of stealth camping. And now you see them in spots, and you can do that.
Yeah. Do you know what number you were on your tag? Did you get a tag?
Yes, I did. I think it was 420.
420. Okay,
Yeah.
good deal.
Yeah.
Now, have you slack packed any, or would you slack pack if you had the chance?
I leave that open. The fellow that I'm hiking with isn't interested in doing slack packing.
Okay.
And I would definitely do that if we got separated, or if I had to heal and then I wanted to catch up or something like this.
Yeah.
And seeing that I've hiked many segments of the AT, from Pennsylvania, Maryland to New Jersey, Massachusetts, like I would not feel guilty because I've already done it with a backpack.
Yeah, and Pennsylvania is Rockvania, is what they call it, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And are you looking forward to Pennsylvania, or you would rather be through it already?
Well, it's probably bittersweet, the fact that since I lived there, that I plan to spend maybe 3 days with my family. When I get there, I got 2 new grandchildren, and my wife hasn't seen me for a while, so that would be the thing to do, to be able to do that. But because I know the area, it's not like I have to go slow and take a lot in. I've done it. So,
you know about it.
Yeah.
So is that the biggest thing you miss most, the family and the grandkids and all?
It was a troubling time to leave here, that departure, but I've done it because I've been, my whole life has been out in the field for extended periods of time. So my wife and I have done this, so we can cope with that kind of separation. The difficult part now is that, you know, having the 3rd generation, the grandchildren, or you know, is one thing, and just being able to make the time, like we try to make logistics. Where can I meet you? Where can I do this? And she still has to work. I was fortunate enough to retire in December, so
Okay, good deal. Yeah,
that way.
Logistics can be hard out here.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Where to get the food, how many days food I need, all of that. Well, Pilgrim, I'm not going to keep you any longer, but if we get to see you up the trail, you know my truck out there.
Sure.
Make sure you flag me down and we get an update and see how things have changed as you put miles under your belt. Who do you want to say hello to before we shut it off?
Well, definitely, I think all the people that have attempted this, you know, and maybe I feel bad because if they had to surrender, or for other reasons like Maui, I feel bad for her injury. That might discourage people to be able to do it, and they have to make other plans after you've made the sacrifices to be prepared to do this.
Right.
So it's like I want to shout out to them, and of course all the workers, because this is only can be operated under the volunteerism that exists, and the servitude that people give to it, and definitely appreciate that. And I think being out here like this just gives you that aura of what America is all about, and what we owe back to, you know, the country, for understanding that this is a value to everyone.
And what about those grandkids? We want to shout out to them.
Yeah, sure. Mila and Charlie.
Yeah, and the wife and all of those back home.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, God bless every step between here and Katahdin, and I'm glad you're having a good day, and I hope it's better tomorrow.
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you.